watching our show.
I really hope not after that last one. We had nudity, we had glory holes, and we had pee in the last one. So,
so yeah, because I try to swap the shirts. So for me, it's easy to look at the shows and go, okay, that's who I'm talking there, because I know what shirt it's on. It's easy to look that way. And I was swapping shirts right when Josh came on. It was just like, oh, it's this kind of show. It's like, oh, all right. So
whereas I tend to just wear more as the night goes on because it gets colder.
I got my pasties on underneath. We're all right. So while you were waiting to come in, I was swapping shirts. So cool. So I think we're all good. John's is going to share the social media. If you want to share, feel free. If not, it's all on YouTube after this. Unfortunately, Facebook's not working, so which is a shame because we've had.
I can upload them to Facebook anyway, so I can do that anyway.
Yeah, but we've had some good interactions with people who have watched the show and say that. So it's a real shame that it's not working tonight.
Yeah. I don't know if it's just a Facebook thing or if it might be to do with your Wi-Fi issues or that, but it's just not happening tonight on Facebook.
We'll blame Netflix.
Yeah, it's Lisa's fault. It's your Missy. Get off Netflix, Missy's there. Or I'll bloody come over there and box you.
So what time is it for you? Okay, yeah, it's 6:30. So you've got one in bed, hopefully, and the other one's still up.
Oh, no. Fortunately, my wife had to go out for, she had a little appointment with some friends, and then my neighbor, she's got kids. They've got kids our age, so we play together all the time and hang out and cook out and stuff. Do crab boils. We did a crab boil last week. That was pretty good.
So, breaking news here, the United States president is actually going to hospital.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Due to his coronavirus, he's had to go to Walter Reed Hospital. So it looks like it's going to be a bit worse than malaria's.
Well, we'll see what happens. So.
Exactly.
I can tell you're absolutely distraught to hear that, Cedric.
Oh no!
Yeah.
Shoot, that's a shame.
I mean, he's a person with feelings, He's got a family. I'm sure some people love him. That's great.
We won't go into politics in the show. We can do whatever we want. We won't talk politics.
I suppose he is technically a person.
Yeah, exactly.
Donald Trump is a
person like Darth Vader.
Yeah, he's a being. He's a living being that exists. I'll give him that.
So crab boil. What do you go for a crab boil? Because I'm curious what a crab boil is for you compared to how we do it in the Northwest. Because I'm from Seattle originally.
Yeah, I mean, ours was pretty simple. It was just crabs, potatoes. You throw the corn in there. What else do we have? Sausage, a bunch of shrimp, in there. And then I used it was just a quick thing we threw together. So I just used I think it was like a Zatarain's crab boil sauce. I also got the bags too, those pouches. Right. I did it inside my house, which is a terrible idea because it starts burning your eye.
You can't get that smell of shellfish out for days, huh?
Yeah, but I don't know. My wife, she wanted it, so I was like, all right, let's do it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Like I said, those are always a lot of fun. Like I said, I remember we did quite a few at the beach. I'm not a big shellfish guy, but whenever we do the beach thing, it's like, yep, okay, like I'm in. We'll do it for this one time. So
yeah, I did a full-on one where I went and got whole crabs because there's a bunch of little crab shacks around here.
Be careful how you phrase that, Cedric. I can edit this. I can edit the audio version of this. I went out and got crabs.
There's a lot of crabs here, in Fredericksburg. We're very itchy people.
Wow. Friday night, it gets a little racy on ball caps and bagpipes.
Yeah, that's the funny thing. Yeah, the place I went to get it, there's a little crab spot it's under a bridge, So where else did you get crabs except for under a bridge?
Yeah.
You get more than crabs under a bridge in Glasgow. So that sounds good to go, guys. We're live on YouTube, and I've shared everything around. So let's get started. Hello, everyone watching either live or on demand. I am John McKellar. I am of Ball Caps and Bagpipes, the Scottish Baseball podcast. Usually we talk about baseball in Scotland from week to week. Obviously, recently that hasn't been the case. We are joined by one of the very talented artists in the Negro League Baseball Museum Art Fundraiser that's upcoming. Begins in just under or just over a day.
48 hours.
Yeah. So about less than 2 days away, from the 4th to the 10th. There's my partner Jason there. We just butted in and.
I can't, I'm just gonna jump in there. I might as well. Since I screw up the intro, I might as well just go ruin your intro.
So I guess it was my turn to screw up the intro that time. This is welcome to part 3 of Full Plate Friday on ball caps and bagpipes. This is our third of 4 interviews. I'm John McKellar of the Glasgow Comets, and one half of Ball Caps and Bagpipes. Yeah, I've done it properly this time. You.
And I'm Jason Durr, former league president and Baseball Scotland Hall of Famer. I'm also the owner of Dugout Classics, and I'm excited about tonight's guest. We have Cedric Harrison. Say hello, Cedric.
Hey, everybody. Excited to be here. Thank you for inviting me. Yep, Cedric Harrison, local artist here in Fredericksburg, Virginia. Repping for the Negro League Baseball Museum and the rest of the crew out there.
Hello and welcome, Cedric. Thanks so much for joining us. We always like to start each of our artist interviews with the same question, and that is, you've already established you're from Fredericksburg, Virginia. Did you grow up following a particular Major League Baseball team? And if so, which one? Did you play baseball growing up? And if so, to what level and what positions did you play?
So I actually didn't play baseball on any teams. I was a huge nerd, so I did a lot of drawing, which is why, I'm here. So, but I am left-handed. So, I was given a baseball mitt and they were just like, go pitch, so I would just go to my grandfather. I'd set up a chain link fence in front of his shed, just get my baseball and just, throw it as fast as I could, and then, I'd watch. But my hero was Randy Johnson. Like, that was the guy. Like, I've always been a big follower of, like, specific athletes. I can't say that, I know everything that happened, but, like, I remember Randy Johnson. I liked watching him. I don't know. He's just incredible.
Yeah. He would break that slider in on a right-hander's knees, and it was almost terrifying to watch. I can't imagine what it would have been like to actually face that pitch as a major league hitter, because he's like 6'10". He's got this really long arm, and it's like coming down at a kind of 3/4 length kind of angle.
Oh,
and
yeah.
It just breaks at the last second. Absolutely mad.
Yeah, he's a monster. And it was really great because, I followed him when he was at the Mariners. And then we actually lived here in Virginia for a while. And my mother's family's from Arizona. So we moved out there, and that's when he went to the Diamondbacks. I think that might have been their first. Was that their first season? I don't recall. But either way, he was there, and I thought that was, I don't know, it was like some kind of like divine providence. I was like, see, Randy Johnson's coming with me. I'm like, this is great.
Yeah. So were you there in 2001 then?
I was. Yep, I was there in 2001. I moved around a lot, so like I have to stop and think about it. But yep. 2000, I was there in Yuma, Arizona.
Yuma. I know Yuma.
Yep, go see the Bullfrogs.
Oh my gosh. So my grandparents retired in Yuma in like 1979. So I've spent many times in Yuma. I'm trying to think. My grandmother dated this dude that was like 104. Who lived 104, and he was like he was born in Yuma, and it wasn't even incorporated yet when he was born there.
Yeah, that's That's the thing, because like a lot of my family is from like Mexico.
Right.
Technically, yeah. So
it was interesting. Yeah, I remember that because I'd taken my wife who's Swedish back home and went to go visit grandma, and I must have been around like 2007. And yeah, that was it. And he took us around. He was just like, well, this place wasn't here. This place wasn't here. I was like, I can't believe he lived his whole life in Yuma. He was like 104 years old, and I was like, all right, whatever, man.
Yeah, I spent a lot of time there. Like my family would move back and forth, kind of like gypsies or something, between Virginia, Arizona, California, and Colorado. So, I went to schools in Virginia. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school in Virginia. I went to elementary school, middle school, high school in Arizona.
Wow, that's been really tough. As I said, like to move around, have to make friends at each new stop.
Yeah, I mean, it was very challenging. It was a unique time, but in another way, you get to see a lot of unique stuff. Just
Now,
kind of
to
all
touch
part
on
of help
that,
change, building your character, I guess.
To touch on that, Cedric, would you say that moving around and not maybe necessarily having the opportunity to connect with other kids growing up helped you as an artist in your formative years? Obviously, you would have spent quite a lot of time by yourself, with potentially with a pen in your hand. Do you
Yeah,
think
no,
that?
absolutely. That's what it was. That was my go-to
Mhm.
for the longest time, was drawing. Comic books was originally I wanted to be a comic book artist as a kid. So that was kind of my dream. I think there's still some of that in what I do.
Star Wars.
Oh yeah, huge
Yeah,
Star Wars. Huge
it's
Star
funny.
Wars.
I think every tops artist we've talked to, I was like, yeah, I wanted to be a comic book artist, and then I wanted to do Star Wars, and then became a sports artist. So it's a recurring
Yeah,
theme, which is really cool.
yeah. I mean, it's the same thing. Once you, what's great about Star Wars, I mean, you got the story, you got all the philosophy, and you can get like way in deep with it. But then you just look like practically how they were, doing that stuff back in the day, and all the Ralph McQuarrie art. That's the stuff that really kind of speaks to me, inspires me, and I think that's what, I guess, just really what I look for in anything. And I think that's one of the things that I found, that when I like something about sports, again, I'm like a huge nerd. It's usually like a person or a story or, an event or, an experience that really, that's what gets me excited.
No, absolutely. It's funny because everyone says the same thing. I'm just a nerd, and we're all nerds here. And it's really funny thing is that if it's not the artwork, it's like you're just passionate about it. And the way I was trying to explain to one person who's, no, I'm a nerd. It's like, well, if you're a wine collector, you just be a connoisseur.
Yeah.
So it's just like, there's no reason to call yourself nerd. So I'm just passionate about what I do. So, but I can't tell you that I've talked to some illustrators who are well respected and won awards, and like, just a nerd. I'm like, oh no.
Well, yeah, I mean, you got to remain what you are. I don't remember a lot of connoisseurs getting, beat up in the, in the seventh grade for reading Lord of the Rings before, anybody knew what it was. Or I'm sure people knew, but, it wasn't a movie yet. So
It wasn't cool yet. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, it was not cool when I was reading it, when I had my big, thick, copy of the Two Towers. And
It's the same thing. But my buddy was a big, Game of Thrones. He'd read all the Game of Thrones before they produced, and he was just like, yeah, I used to have to hide that in like the top corner where no one could see it, and then he's like, now I can just display it proudly and go, oh yeah, I read that a
yeah.
long time ago, and I'm still waiting for him to finish the book.
Does he not have like instructions in a safe somewhere for in case he dies? I'm pretty sure I read that. Like he's got like the last book up to a certain point, and with like instructions of roughly where he wants it to go in case he dies before he finishes it.
They
Well,
probably
Else can
should. I mean,
finish
there's a
it.
lot of money invested in that thing at this point.
yeah, I mean, I think he was supposed to have that last book due 3 or 4 years ago, so I can't remember now. So, John, you entered the military. So when did you do that? Because I did see that you were a veteran, right?
Yes, yeah, I was in the Air Force for 9.5 years. I did 8 years active duty, and really just like one year, and did like a trial of the
Right.
reserve unit here. But the U.S. military has been great for me, in my life. Moving around a lot. We never built up much financially, so I did go to college for a couple years before the Great Recession started. Then I started to look around, and because I was a music major at that point, I'm a big music aficionado. I won't say nerd this
Right.
time. But I wanted to be a music teacher, and I saw a lot of people graduating, and they were still working at Subway or like the gas station or something, and it was kind of strange to me. I'm like, I'm paying a lot of money for this degree, and faith is a big thing to me. So I just prayed, what should I kind of do with my life, God? Because it's not going in any kind of direction that I would think. I felt like he just kind of like, you need to go check out the Air Force. And I was like, that's ridiculous, because You know, I like to do comic books and, you know, all that straight lace marching around stuff. That's not going to be cool, you know, for me. You know, I was in a band. I'm like a drummer, you know, long hair, kind of hippie guy. And, but I went, it was fantastic. And that was actually the way. So I've actually I was sent on a trip in 2010 to go to Watertown, New York.
Right. Okay.
To ship out the 10th Mountain Division. We're loading up a bunch of helicopters and stuff. And then one day we had kind of a break after, you know, we're just days and days of shipping guys out. Because I guess I didn't explain. I was an aerial porter, air transporter. So we loaded aircraft. So we're like FedEx.
Yeah.
Yeah, with tanks and stuff and
Yeah.
people.
They
So we're
really
loading them
drive
up, and then one day it was during the World Series, and one of my sergeants was like, "Hey," he's like, "I'm going to Cooperstown tomorrow." He's like, "We have a day off. I'm going." He's like, "Whoever meets me in the van, you're going." I was like, "All right." So we're going, you know, we're going to go to the Baseball Hall of Fame. They're like, "You want to go, Harrison?" I'm like, "Yeah." They're like, "Well, you're not like a big sport." I was like, "Whatever, let's go." Hop in the van. So, you know, we stopped at the local gas station, picked up whatever booze we could find, and, you know, got there before it was open, and we were already ready to go.
Yeah.
And once I got in there, you know, it was awesome because, you know, like you walk right in, there was like an art museum. That was where I saw my first, you know, in life Norman Rockwell. It was the Rain game.
Wow. Amazing.
Yeah. So for me, and then everybody was like, "What are you doing?" I was like, No, hold on. We're gonna walk through here first." And I'm just like looking at all this baseball art, and I don't know. That meant a lot to me. And at the same time, we were still really excited about Tim Lincecum.
Yep. Yeah.
Yeah. Watching him was fantastic. He was another one of those people, he's burn bright. You know, that season was sick. I mean, we did watch that World Series. That was incredible, just watching him.
So no, I was just saying you like Seattle guys, Randy Johnson, and actually Tim Lincecum comes from the Seattle area. So
Yeah.
yeah. But yeah, no, is that so? So you would say that kind of pinpointed seeing the Norman Rockwell was just like that. Oh my gosh, this is amazing! Like that kind of helps steer everything from here on out.
Well, yeah, I mean, you know, and you get to see you get to see art, but then when you find something that moves you, you know, he's one of those artists who, you know, you look at everything that he ever did, and it was always just, you know, it was alive. And you know, just to be there in real life and to see it, you know, and to see the umpire standing there, and to see, you know, you've seen the picture of the raindrop coming down, but just to see, you know, the stroke,
right,
you know, paint, and you see how thick it was, you know, it's just like, it's real, you know, it's like you could almost touch it, you know. It's like when you're like that's the whole thing, I think, of going to the Baseball Hall of Fame is, you know, you're there, you're touching it, and I'm like, oh, look at this is Hank Aaron's, you know, this is where he used to hang his clothes, you know, you can sit right here and touch that, you know, you see all the Nolan Ryan's hats, you know, Pete Rose's name is on everything, but he's not allowed to be in there.
You gotta pay for that jail time somehow. So, you know.
Yeah. we actually started a bunch of trouble. So when we went, I think it was toward the end of the World Series, so it wasn't over yet. But one of the historians, you know, there was an announcement, you know, it was like, hey, if you meet us inside this room, you come over here. This is the stuff we just got from the World Series. You can come see it, you know. And then, you know, there are the bats right there, and you can see, you know, like the dents inside of it, you know, where they hit, or it's like, you know, let's come through this ball, you know, and he struck this guy out, you know. I don't know, it's like, you know, it's real, it's there, you know, you can touch it. It's a, you know, tangible experience.
That's really cool.
And
Like
yeah, so while we were there, you know, we did start a bunch of crap, you know. We were like, hey, this is all cool though. When's Pete Rose gonna be in? You know, everybody's like, yeah. And there's like all these other, you know, guys just popped in. They're like, yeah, these guys are right. What about Pete Rose? And he's like, I can't talk about that. And we're like, yeah.
I can't talk about that. All right, well, shoeless Joe Jackson. We're gonna bring shoeless Joe in.
I'm just picturing a massive mob all kind of going around the historian, like when's Pete Rose coming in with pitchforks practically, like chasing him around.
Oh,
Yeah, you know,
that sounds like it was a lot of fun. Did you guys ever go to any games? Just go on an off day, just go, all right, we're gonna go catch a game somewhere, or
when we were up there, we went, we actually ended up seeing the 2CW is the only thing that was there, and that was underground like wrestling.
right?
Yeah, I saw Kevin Owens before he was. Yeah, he went under a different name, Steen, at the
Back
time.
then it was Kevin Steen, yeah.
Yeah,
His t-shirt said "Kill
awesome.
Steen, Kill" back then, and it wasn't.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah,
Back
when he was done,
allowed
he
to
was
be.
bleeding and he had
Yeah.
tacks sticking out of his head. And they had all kinds of awesome names. There was a guy, Crusher Van Slyke, the Suplex Machine.
I like this.
Rolls off the tongue, doesn't it?
Yeah, so it was cool. There was a bunch of there was like a racetrack too, so we saw some like local just race with Jimmy John, who just puts his own car together and comes out there. So
Oh man, Destruction Derby.
yeah.
Yes.
But I've been to a lot of minor league games. So we used to go see the Bullfrogs all the time when we were kids. My brother there was him and another guy. We were little kids at the time. They would like heckle together, and they ended up like making a t-shirt from the heckling they would do. They would do this "and you know it" thing. I was like back in the 90s. It was pretty cool. But I've been there. I've been to really mostly minor league games. Then I've seen the Blue Crabs up in New Jersey.
Yeah.
I can't remember what city they're from. And then the Richmond Flying Squirrels here in Virginia. And we just got a minor league team that's supposed to have started their first season this year, but I think COVID has shut that down. But I was really stoked about that. I can't say that major league isn't fun. It's probably a blast, but I love minor league because it's like you can afford it. You can afford to go there, get your ticket. You get your kid a hot dog, and you feel like you're big time.
Have cheese in your
You're on the field.
pocket.
Hey, look at that. You get that's something about just a hot dog and a beer.
Yeah.
Watch the game.
Well, I mean, we were talking with
Can't beat
Maz
it.
Adams, and he was saying it was like $50 for him to park just for the Yankees, not including the ticket. That's just mind blowing.
Yeah, my one of my uncles, he has season tickets to the Senators. It is the Senators, right? Before I look stupid.
It could be the Nationals, but
No, it is the Washington Nationals. That's right. I put the T-shirt on my son this morning. That's what I get. This guy doesn't know anything about baseball. Get him out of here.
Well, I said like there was Mike. No, was it Mike, the guy from Germany, who didn't know anything about baseball, and literally he's a basketball guy, and he's like, I had to go do research on baseball cards, and he's like, I didn't know anything about baseball.
Well,
I did collect a lot of baseball cards. Oh, go ahead. Sorry.
There's like a different aspect to this project. It's not just a baseball project; it's a social project as well. It's like the Negro Leagues don't just the Negro Leagues don't represent baseball or even baseball history. They represent American history and the history of humanity, really, in a way. Because the Negro Leagues is, I think, something that we as a species could really look at, study, and learn from. I think the Negro Leagues should be being taught in school, because the Negro Leagues was, a group of supremely talented athletes who, for reasons that were, there's really no justification for it, for segregation, and these guys just said, you know what, fine, we'll go and do our own thing, and we'll do it as well as you do, or even better. And then because of just how amazing those guys were, how talented they were, they couldn't be held back any longer until, like when Jackie Robinson broke the colour barrier, then it started to become more and more and more, and the talent became more and more recognised to where today, the two top home run hitters of all time are both black men.
Yeah. Well, yeah, I mean, it's extremely, inspiring, to think about that, especially myself being an African American. So the fact that these individuals got together, Drew Foster, and they were like, hey, we're going to have our own league. If we're not allowed to play here, we're going to do our own thing. And I don't know, to do it just with such style, and they're getting such, I think the thing that the reason there isn't a Negro League today is, it's like the amount of attention, like you said, the talent was there, and that's what brings in tickets. That's what brings in people, right? And that's concessions, and that's ticket sales and food. They had the first night games, they were the guys who did that. And in a way, that I almost think it's, collectively like working together, and what they were able to build and creating their own market. That's the thing that, I almost imagine in a way was, what probably enticed a lot of people, a lot of people, maybe it wasn't, hey, they're really good at baseball, but hey, they bring a crowd. That's money.
Yeah.
I want those guys.
Yeah. And it taught America that an African American's money is, is just as valuable as a white American's money. And it was part of the start of a healing process, which sadly in America to this day hasn't fully come to fruition, as obviously we've seen this year in particular. But it was such a great kind of start and a coming together of American people. The Shulky was born out of, the Negro Leagues and what they managed to build together.
Well, yeah, absolutely. And it's going to be, say what you will about Colin Kaepernick or, other athletes like that, it's that one person who's going to, stand up and say something. And it's interesting that it's athletes, or, the integration of the military, prior to where Eisenhower was like, hey, these are our boys, if they're going to die, they're going to die together. They're going to live together.
Yeah.
And that's how you break down those boundaries. And it's funny that, there are things like that, like the military or sports or, in the movies that, that really like influence how we, collectively start to think about, how we see each other.
Yeah, exactly. And then you have a platform now where previously it's like, say, I'm a child of the 80s and 90s, it was like, shut up and just stay on the court. Now you have social media and you can stand for those issues there. So, might as well take advantage of it while you can.
Yeah.
So, but we better talk about your art because we're running out of time here.
Okay.
So,
I don't know. I can't help, man. I'm just having a blast with you guys.
No, not at all. Like, so
The feeling's mutual,
definitely kindred spirits.
Yeah. So, Cedric, I mean, we've already had, I think pretty much everyone has said, like, this has been a lot of fun and we want to be on again. And me and John have already talked off air pretty much every night saying, how are we going to continue this? And we definitely want to do this because everyone we've talked to is so passionate about what they do. And there's, obviously for the cause, but it's been fun to hear everyone's stories of their fandom and how they got involved. And everyone's works is absolutely mind-blowing. I mean, John came in as going, John, like, you're my podcast buddy. Like, there's this baseball card art thing. Like, you come along for it. And he's constantly blown away by everyone's work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the work and also the stories as well. I've said it a few times already on the show. Getting to speak to you guys is almost like being able to vicariously go back in time and live through that experience of collecting baseball cards or baseball memorabilia or going to minor league ballparks, watching baseball in like its purest form as like an 8-year-old kid, which I never really had an opportunity to do. I found baseball by accident on TV when I was 13 years old. All I really ever had was what we had on TV at the time. I didn't know anyone growing up that was a baseball fan. Never got a chance to talk baseball until I joined the Glasgow Baseball Association team and started playing out here. And that was in itself very similar. The process of joining up with that team was very similar to what we're doing now in this project, which was just like networking with people that I've never had a chance to speak with before. So this has been an absolute blast for me. And as Jason says, we're hoping to continue that on some level, even beyond the fundraiser, and get everyone back on to talk baseball in one way or another.
Well, it's funny you should mention, how you could, catch a baseball game or two. That was essentially like how I watched soccer. I could watch it on the like Spanish channels or whenever the World Cup would show up, but that was about it. Even then, there wasn't a lot of that. And that was something I always enjoyed.
So you should be a soccer fan. Do you have a club that you follow?
No, I can't,
just whatever's on.
Say that I have one. I think
how about a league? How about a league you follow?
I mean, we used to watch like the Washington Warthogs here. That was the team at the time. I'm bad. I'm bad when it comes to that.
You're spending too much time with the kids, your music, and your art, and that's what it is, right?
Yeah. The thing is, I don't know. Like even like hockey, I watch hockey. I don't watch every single game. My favorite team for some reason is I like the Montreal Canadiens. because I liked playing with them on Sega Genesis.
Yeah,
exactly.
You know, but I
That was
enjoy
how
I don't know what it is. I don't have like a favorite team with most stuff, you know, like even like with football, I'll just watch it. You know, I can enjoy it. I kind of admire the athleticism, because what I find myself, what a lot of what I do is I'll watch like documentaries about sports. Like it's the stories that really kind of, like I said, there's the stories that inspire me. So you know,
100%.
I admire the athleticism, you know, like because my dad, he was really big into sports, and you know, to him it was like, hey, you know, shut up right now, you're in front of the TV, you know. So I was like, oh, what? It's like I'm gonna go over here and draw cartoons.
I want to play Sega. Come on, let me play Sega.
Yeah.
It's so funny. It's so funny that you mentioned becoming a Habs fan through Mega Drive or Genesis, as you guys call it over there. Because that's how I became a New York Rangers fan, playing like NHL '94
Yeah.
and stuff like that. As like the New York Rangers, I only played as the Rangers because there's a soccer club out here called Rangers, and my family are all big fans of theirs. So I kind of started playing as them and fell in love with Mark Messier and Mike Richter and guys like
Yeah.
that.
For me and my brother, it was just like whatever movie we had just watched was usually the game we wanted to play. We watched Hoosiers, so we played basketball every day. You know, we watched, what is The Sandlot? We watched The Sandlot. All of a sudden, we're, you know, all we're doing is playing baseball. You know, in summer.
Did you watch Slapshot?
Oh yeah, yeah, that's a great one.
Yeah.
See,
Try to listen to the song.
It's funny you say that. But
When the X Games came out, you know, we're jumping off of stuff with our bikes, and you know. I think it's because I was never like planted in one place that I never got to, you know, play on a team or really get that experience. You know, maybe it's something I missed out on.
Cool. All right, let's talk about your artwork because we're running out of time right So tell us about your art and when you got started. Just, you know, give us a little history about it. Obviously, you were drawing younger. So
yeah, so I've been drawing my whole life. When I was in kindergarten, you know, I used to tell my teacher I didn't want to go to recess. She would drop me off with a first grade class who liked the Ninja Turtles that I would draw. So art's always been a huge thing. When I was a kid, I watched a lot of movies I probably shouldn't have. I think one of my oldest memories is watching Blade Runner. Watched heavy metal when I was like 7, Predator, and
I don't think John knows what heavy metal is. I don't know if it ever made it out there, but it was definitely a cult classic.
Maybe, yeah. It's
no, I don't. I remember watching RoboCop very young, which I probably shouldn't have done.
It's not in the same ballpark as RoboCop.
Is it? Okay.
So, it's pretty drug fueled. Yeah.
Right, okay.
Yeah, it's just all about just. It was like a French magazine, like comic magazine. So essentially, just like comic books, science fiction. Those are the things that, you know, they got me going. You know, and art, and I was just always just kind of chasing, you know, different artists, you know, trying to find, you know, ways that I could be like them, and you know, like learning how to make comic books and all this stuff. But I mean, just recently, it's really just been focusing in on, you know, like now it's going to sound really nerdy, less exciting. It's like I'm just like, hey, what does the light do that? Well, what color is that shadow? And I read this book, the Practice and Science of Drawing.
Right. Okay.
Extremely nerdy book for a guy who he lived about 100 years ago, and he's essentially talking about how he thinks that everybody is, you know, everything's kind of losing touch with reality. You know, because nothing is handmade. You know, it's the same stuff Tolkien was talking about, where, you know, you could have a plastic cup or you know, some kind of cup that's made from hand. You know, it's more alive, it's more real. You know. Comes back to experience, but you know, I love art. I love to paint, love to draw. What do you want to know about art? I guess
you asked me. So
that's
what are you working on currently for the fundraiser?
So I've been working on a bunch of these 6x6. I don't know if this will be seen, but
yeah, it works really well.
Acrylic paintings of the artist. I was trying to make something readily available that, you know, could be purchased for, you know, the average fan's price range. I put a bunch of stuff in a local restaurant of different athletes, and you know, I'm just excited to, you know, to be able to support the museum. So essentially all of my art is on sale I'm going to donate 20% of all the proceeds of anything that's sold. So I actually have another commission that I was hired to do that wasn't necessarily related to the fundraiser, but I'm still going to donate there.
Cool.
And I'm planning on putting a bunch of this stuff up on eBay, and I'll be sharing on social media. You know, we had the interview, and you know, just trying to support everybody, because you know, I think really it's about supporting that museum, because that's a powerful, we need that. And you know, like a big ups to, I heard the Major League Baseball donated $1 million to the museum. I heard that on the radio the other day.
Oh wow, I didn't catch
Don't know
that.
if you guys heard that. Yeah, so you know, obviously it's not just us who thinks that it's important.
For sure.
Yeah, I know, between these interviews and chasing down my Rugrats, I haven't checked into anything else at the moment.
Yeah.
Well, I just heard it on the radio. It was just like by coincidence. I think there was something on it was like a CBS news show Sunday morning. It's kind of a lighter news show, and then they were talking about the centennial of the Negro Leagues, and you know, they went ahead and
That's amazing. That's
yeah,
so
they
cool.
shared that, and I was like, that's awesome. So you know, it's an awesome time, and it's exciting. You know, despite all the different events going on, COVID-19, and you know, all the unrest going on. I don't know. I'm excited. I think that their stories are powerful. I think sharing the stories of really, you know, I don't know, just really most athletes have a, you know, pretty amazing story. You know, you deal with a lot of adversity, and then, you know, for those who reach a certain pinnacle of success, like how do they handle it? You know, some don't succeed very well, but it's those ones that do, you know, like Jackie Robinson can get up there and then, you know, still maintain his, you know, his dignity, and still be realized that at the end of the day, you know, like he could just focus completely on baseball, but instead he wants to, you know, focus on making, you know, the world a better place for everybody, not just himself.
Yeah.
Did you find any of the athletes, when you were doing your research for the art, that were more inspiring that you didn't know about? When you decided to choose your paintings, did you do any research and find more information about them and find out more about their story?
So for the art that I have done, each one, uh, I'll start off with like finding, I'm looking for a good picture.
Mhm.
You know, and a certain, what I look for in a good picture has, you know, lots of lights, lots of shadows. You know, most of these pictures are in black and white, and that's good. That helps with that. But just something like kind of striking. But just learning about Rube Foster, you know, founded the whole thing. I think his story has probably had the most impact on me, because, you know, thinking about, you know, you know, what did he view? Like, what were his goals? You know, I try to put myself in his shoes and imagine, you know, what's that like? You know, you build this thing and it's just so we can play baseball. Is that all it was initially, you know, to him, you know, just so we can do this, you know, and then as it grows, you know, you have to develop and grow with that, you know, can this be more, you know, and then when it comes to the point where, you know, hey, you know, we're doing the best that we can for the athletes in our league. And now, you know, we have an opportunity to integrate or move into, you know, kind of the, you know, then the white man's world, right? For these guys, you know, I'm not allowed to use the bathroom, but now I can come and perform for you. You know, I can't eat in the same restaurants as the rest of my team, but I can come and make money, you know, for you. So at a certain point, I wonder if there was any hesitation or you know, what challenges those athletes faced when they were given the opportunity to move to the major leagues. You know, maybe some of them it was just, hey, more money, I'm in the big leagues, let's do it. You know, and for others maybe it was, well, you know, this is our thing. You know, we made this, we built this ourselves.
That's a great point, actually, that
It's,
you
you know,
raised.
history is
Yeah.
really challenging. That's not part of the popular dialogue. You know, it's kind of the, hey, you know, we got together and that's good. It's like, but what about, you know, the owners? What about those baseball stadiums? What about those towns that supported those people? You know, the concessions, the you know, all the workers. You know, those are jobs. You know, so it's a. I feel like it's a broader, you know, more impactful story. Just the deeper you get into it, the more, you know, you see, you know. But that was the world they lived in, and those were the times, and we get to, we have what we have thanks to their sacrifices and their strength.
And thank God for them. The world's a better place for those guys playing the game that they did and making the impact that they had on social issues in the United States. It was by no means the end, and it's been a long and slow struggle since then with the 60 civil rights movement. Certainly, that wasn't a smooth road, and today we have the Black Lives Matter movement. And thank God we do, because it's high time that we really practice what Major League Baseball at least pretended to preach back then when they allowed
I don't think
Jackie
it was
Robinson to break
pretending.
them.
I think it was, I think it was real. It was a challenge. I mean, for those who brought, African Americans onto their team, they had to know it's like, well, not everybody's going to get along, and there are those white players. I think I should have remembered his name because I just watched a video on him, but it was a white baseball player who shook Jackie Robinson's hand. I think it was after his first home run. It was just coincidence.
Jason, do you know that?
No, I was wondering if it was the guy who got. No, I'm not. I'm thinking confusing stories there, but
yeah. I know. I kind of can picture him in my mind, but I can't remember his name either.
Well, yeah, he was just following up Jackie Robinson just by coincidence. He was the next guy up, so and he just went up and he shook his hand. He didn't have to do that. He may have or may not have thought, whether it's a big deal, but it was, because not everybody else, on their team would have done that, would have been willing to do that. There's a beautiful picture that's now being made into a sculpture that's going to be placed in his hometown, I believe. I wish I could remember his name, but it's racism isn't exclusive to a race, or intolerance isn't exclusive to one race, or one people. So, it's really just about, good people getting together and, forget the rest.
Yeah, exactly. Like I said, like let's all get along here. So
yeah, we just got to push the good stories. There's plenty of bad news. You'll always find somebody with some awful opinion. Let's hear some good ones.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's been really positive about the community here is we've all been able to push together. We're hearing artists be able to reach out to other artists the first time and not just be like, hey, I'm a fan on Instagram and I've been following you now. It's like the community now exists now and people are trading ideas. And it was really interesting with Josh Trout just before you came on. He kind of went, well, here's one of my secrets I do and how I do this, but that. And that was, probably something no one knew about, but it was like, I feel comfortable enough with the people watching, the people community can see how I do my work and maybe my little trade secrets that you might have not known about.
That's awesome. That's cool.
So, John, do you want to ask your question there, and then we can wrap things up? I think we try to fit cards in, but we're becoming real short.
We've already kind of touched on what the Negro Leagues mean to you, Cedric. So I think that we don't really need to bother with the kind of closing question. Let's just open some cards quickly. While Jason gets some packs ready. If you would just want to plug your socials and your website, Cedric.
Okay, my website is CedricHarrisonArt.com. You can find that just by Googling it. And then I'm Cedric.Harrison.art on Instagram. So mostly just everything is just associated with my name. I think there's one other Cedric Harrison artist out there, but
you're the real one.
He's a good guy. He's a good guy. Maybe you look for him and you'll find me on accident. That'll be nice.
All right. So did you collect cards as a kid?
I did. I was thinking about running over and trying to grab mine really quick.
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead and grab it. I'll just tell Ramon that we're running a little bit late. Yeah, go for it. I'll just tell Ramon we're running late for the next one. That's fine.
We're 3 hours deep by this point, so it's all real. It's all one to us.
I'm just gonna tell Ramon that. I let him know that we're running a little bit late, so I don't think he'll
No
mind.
worries.
I'm not gonna
The
find him.
superstar. So
For time. Anyway, I was gonna show you my treasured Frank Thomas card. That was my.
oh,
Nice.
which one?
I
81 tops. Do you remember what it looks like? I'll recognize it.
I just see the picture. Yeah, I wish I could find that. Yeah, I have like just a few different cards. I have a little book. I maybe have like 200 or 300 cards. It was like I have him. I got my Randy Johnson card where he's just bringing it. What was that?
Right.
Chuck Finley. Liked him a lot too. Chuck Finley.
Chuck Finley was he was a good pitcher. Great splitter.
Yeah. He's the one that dated the model, like the white steak model. No, I think it's somebody else.
Really? Did?
Yeah, I want to say like one of his wives was like either a Playboy bunny or she was like the white steak model in the car or something like that.
It's funny, it's funny you mention that. Am I right in saying that Aaron Boone's wife is actually a former Playboy model?
I don't know about Boone. Maybe.
I'm pretty sure I read that Aaron Boone's wife is like an ex-Playboy model.
So I actually have. I wouldn't know. I wouldn't call her a friend. I gotta tell her a girl I know.
A massive Playboy collection. Is that what you're going to say?
No. The show has really gone downhill on Friday night. He was in my fraternity, and I knew his sister. We chatted a few times, but she was Playboy Playmate of the Year in 2000. And that's what it was there. And she's now married to Mario Andretti, Michael Andretti, one of the Andrettis. So
Mario Andretti, yeah. The race guy.
Yeah. So it's very odd because, like, first of all, it was odd seeing my friend's sister naked, and then the fact that here she was, and here she was, like, now with Mario Andretti, and they always have all these pictures of like the family and the racetrack and all that, and it's like such a weird world to be someone who talks about hanging out at Hugh Hefner's house and hanging out with the bunnies and the grotto parties. And it was just like, these are mind blowing. Like, you were just this girl that was, Ponch's little sister. So, anyways, now we've got completely off tangent. Let's open some cards. So I've got a few packs. You pick which one you want to open. So I got 89 Donruss. That's got the Ken Griffey Jr. one. Got Randy Johnson rookie in that one. 90 Score, which has the Frank Thomas rookie in it.
Oh.
And the Bo Jackson. 91 Studio, and these are the great cards because they're actually like studio photography. So you got a lot of little stuff like this, and there's 92.
I do have one of those. Yeah, I did one of those.
92 Pinnacle. So that 92 Donruss. There's a Cal Ripken Jr. autograph that's in there somewhere. And 93 Studio, which is basically an updated version of the other one, but with cooler backgrounds. And the final one is Big League Baseball, which is the modern pack. So any players is like that. So.
If I get to pick, I'm gonna go with Don Russ. Those are always the ones. I was like, I saw Don Russ. I'm like, I can afford this.
Yes, yeah. I being from
my
Seattle,
dad would give me get the Don Russ cards. I was like, yes.
Costco. How many times I bought a box at Costco? I couldn't even tell you. So let's open this up. So there's Jose Uribe. So there's actually a really interesting story there. If you can find his 1990 Fleer, drug dealers use it to launder money at. So you can find these for like $5,000 or $10,000, and people will buy it. Apparently, it's just a legal way of laundering money. So every time I pull a Juan Uribe card, it makes you think of people doing that.
I do have that. There was like a Rod Strickland, the basketball player. One of his cards were the Menendez brothers.
Yeah,
courtside after they murdered their parents. I have that one.
Yeah, I still have a bunch of cards coming over, and I know I have that Mark Jackson card, and I can't wait to go look for it.
Yeah.
All right, Brian Fisher for the Pirates. I don't really remember him. Played for the Yankees there, so. Oops. Tommy Gregg for the Braves. No, not a lot.
That has to be the coolest thing, having your own card.
Oh, absolutely. Keith Brown.
Yeah. Look at that dude. He looks like he can put him back.
Yeah, he does. I think he's a closer. Yeah, he is. Maybe not 4 games and 16 innings pitched. He might have started. Yeah.
4 games, 16 innings. It sounds like a long relief guy.
Yeah, I think so. Keith Moreland for the Padres.
Spot starter.
He's got a nice little bunting stance there.
Yeah.
There you go. Tony Pena for the Cards. Got a sweet stash.
Oh, look at that. Yeah, look at that mustache and that chain.
Oh,
Looks like one of the 4 tops. Looks like one of my uncles, actually. My dad's uncles.
All right. Vaughn Hayes. I like the powder blues of the Phillies. So.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, there you go. We got a Hall of Famer here. And it's actually somebody you've painted because I was looking at your artwork. Yeah, Nolan Ryan.
Ooh.
Oh, yeah. There he is.
Yeah.
Nice.
So that's a nice card there. So that's not too bad. Cool. Scott Fletcher. So just another average dude there. Another Hall of Famer. Harold Baines, the White Sox.
I don't know him. That's a good picture, though.
Kurt McCaskill for the Angels.
Oh, there we go. Bringing the heat.
Yeah, he looks like he is going to bring on that one. So, all right. So one of the other artists, Pete Sack, he's a big Andres Galarraga fan. So he's going to be super thrilled that I pulled this card for him. He liked that. We used to talk about who was a better first baseman, McGuire or Galarraga. So.
McGuire easily.
Galarraga was actually the better hitter back in the day. McGuire had home runs, but McGuire hit for a better average. Eric Plunk with the A's. Just your normal middle reliever. Brooke Jacoby. But you gotta look at the eye black. He's got a lot of eye black on.
Yeah,
Our last
like
card.
some kind of vigilante.
Willie Wilson, the Royals. That's it.
Willie
So didn't do too bad. I got Nolan Ryan. So okay.
Yeah.
And Harold Baines.
And Harold Baines, that's true. I don't really consider him a Hall of Famer, but he is in the Hall of Fame.
Well, you're in the Hall. That's one more Hall of Fame than I'll ever be in.
Yeah, that's true. Cedric, it's been an absolute pleasure talking to you.
Yep.
We're definitely going to do this again at some time, and we'll absolutely.
Yeah, I had a blast. Thank you so much for inviting me.
I echo that sentiment, Cedric. Thank you so much for joining us this evening. It's been great chatting with you. And hopefully we will get a chance to catch up down the road and come back on Ball Caps and Bagpipes. We'll open some more cards and swap some more stories. It's been an absolute pleasure, man.
Yeah, absolutely. And seriously, guys, just thank you so much for, the hard work that you guys have put in. And I saw the list of everybody you guys are interviewing. That's a lot. I mean, you say you're having fun. That's awesome. And I feel really appreciative to get a chance to be a part of that. But thank you so much for what you guys are doing. It's awesome.
Great, man.
No problem, man. We're enjoying it. It's like your artwork. You do that for fun. We're doing this for fun. So
yeah.
Thanks.
Have a good one, Cedric, and thank you once again.
All right. Good night.
Bye.
Peace.